It's a beautiful day in the life of a medieval castle. Lord Reginald sits on his throne made of real gold and jewels and surveys his domain from his high vantage point. The drawbridge has just risen, allowing 2 knights in full armor to enter the courtyard. Both knights kneel before the king, presenting him with a silver platter between them. On it is a single red apple. Reginald takes the apple, peels it with practiced ease, and eats it in slow, exaggerated bites. Meanwhile, his young son, Prince Reginald II, watches wide-eyed from his perch atop the nearby castle wall. See, the elder Reginald has just received a message from his longtime rival, King Bartholomew the Bad, and the message was clear. Bring your son to the jousting match tomorrow, or we will put him to death. This is not the first time such a threat has come. In fact, the 2 kings have been trading barbs and threats for years, each trying to best the other. But usually the jabs were about who could make the better jam or grow the largest pumpkin. And now they're threatening to kill each other's heir. Bartholomew the Bad had always been a bit of a bully, but recently he'd taken to wearing dark robes instead of his usual velvet smoking jacket. He'd taken up pointy-toed boots instead of his normal round-toed ones. And worst of all, he'd grown a truly awful mustache that covered his already bulbous nose like some sort of hairy tumor. His counselors had tried to talk him out of it, but he would have none of it. This look, he told them, is how I shall strike terror into the hearts of my enemies. And given that his enemies were currently hiding behind their shields, presumably this plan was working all too well. But why? Why had he suddenly embraced the dark side? The elder Reginald wondered if maybe it was because Bartholomew, his wife, had died last year, and he was just going through a rough patch. Then again, maybe it was just because he'd seen a handsome young lord with a neatly trimmed goatee and thought I could rock that look. Sadly, there was only one way to find out. The next day, both kings watched from their thrones as their sons rode out into the courtyard. They'd agreed to settle this little spat with a good old-fashioned joust. Except the younger Reginald wasn't very good at jousting. In fact, he wasn't very good at anything except, well, eating apples. And so, as the young prince rode his horse into the makeshift arena, he peeled and ate another apple, hoping that his father wouldn't notice that he wasn't paying attention. And then something amazing happened. As he bit into the apple, his lance came up just as Bartholomew II rode under it. It hit him square in the chest and sent him flying off his horse. With the grace of a seasoned knight, Reginald II slid off his saddle, flipped over his mount, and landed squarely on his feet. He doffed his helmet, bowed to his opponent, and said, "Good fight, good sir, though I must say you lack the courage of a true knight. To fight me, you must remove your helmet and all outer garments. Then we can joust in our shirts." Bartholomew II stared at him in disbelief. Was this kid serious? Hadn't he heard what his father had told him the night before? Didn't he know that if he lost, his life would forfeit? He looked over at his father, who was indeed staring at him with a wild look on his face. And then he realized with dawning horror that his father wasn't just an absent-minded old fool, but actually a truly terrible liar. You see, when King Bartholomew had gotten that message from his rival, he'd done what any reasonable person would do. He'd called his wife to discuss strategy. Unfortunately for Bartholomew, she was very dead, so he discussed it with his counselor instead, only to be told in no uncertain terms that sending a threatening message to another king was, in fact, a declaration of war. So the 2 kings did battle, not with lances, but with words. And the winner was, of course, Reginald I. He got to gloat and preen and generally rub it in Bartholomew's face that he was the better man. And when the 2 were finally done, he let his son keep his prize. Hey, show some love and hit that like button. Want more medieval misadventures? Well, don't just sit there like a peasant. Click the subscribe button right here and get your name in lights. Or click here to see more videos like this one. Hey, you're still here. Well, here's another video I think you might like.